Hello again and welcome to another show of ATTD TV live from the middle of the exhibition here, as you know, in Barcelona. My name is Lena Bayón, you may also know that already. And I am happy to be here on site, finally, no more Zoom. 28 sessions are scheduled for today, one of them Science from Afar. I'm talking about the Yearbook session, of course. Sadish Garg will talk to us about it, and he's here with me already. What else are we going to have? Oral presentations, industry symposiums, tech fair, and of course our live TV studio to help get a wider picture of what makes ATTD so great. As mentioned, my first guest for today is Sadish Garg, that will be the first one to present at the Yearbook session in just a few hours. Sadish is a professor of medicine and pediatrics at the adult clinic of the Barbara Davis Center for Diabetes of the University of Colorado School of Medicine in Denver. Hello, Sadish. It's such an honor to have you here with me on set.
Well, thank you very much, Lena, for your kind introduction. And it gives me great pleasure to be here in person after 2 years and 2 months when we were in Madrid for the last international conference. In fact, many of us across the pond from the US have not been able to travel. So thanks to Moshe for his persistence and Tadej for his insistence that we must have this meeting in person. So I really congratulate them for doing an amazing job at this conference where more than 2,000 people are present in person, and we can finally be without masks and see each other and meet each other. Regarding the session, Yearbook, it is near and dear to all of us. Many of us spend hours and days on trying to go through the literature on a given topic. And the topic that was given to me is COVID and diabetes. Thanks to the pandemic, we have created a new chapter on COVID and diabetes. Unfortunately, when you have diabetes and you get COVID, there is an increased risk of morbidity and mortality. And unfortunately, many of the studies now are showing that there are higher risk of many vascular and renal and neurological complications with long-standing COVID.
And what does the Yearbook session, what makes it very important? It's a session that is very important for almost everybody here. So
Lena, that's because you have who is who in the field of diabetes across the whole globe, who has been given these topics, and they scoured through the literature in the previous year and come up with pertinent topics which might be of relevance not only to the field of technology, but to all those who are not able to attend the conference in person. And they then pick the topics or some of the abstracts which have been published in the previous year and write a little commentary to each of these topics.
So tell us a little bit more about this process. How is it made?
This process is thanks to Raquel, who keeps us on time. And primarily what we do is we are informed sometime in June or July. Then we go through the literature. For example, in my case, COVID and diabetes, there were more than 10,000 abstracts that we had to go through. So we finally narrowed them down to 1,000 and then brought them down to about 30 abstracts that were discussed in the very first chapter of the Yearbook.
And can you recommend our viewers about a session that you are looking forward to attend?
Now, first of all, the technology has been very near and dear to me. I personally think it is a technology that's going to break the barriers between socioeconomic status as well as people who can't afford. Plus, we can reach many more people anywhere on the world by using technology, by using iCloud. So you don't have to see the physician in person. So I personally feel it is thanks to, again, COVID pandemic, which has only expedited the use of technology in the space of diabetes. So I personally feel it has been a boom for this field and breaking the barriers for those who are unfortunate to be able to afford the care for diabetes.
I'm sure it's been a long relationship, but when did this relationship with diabetes start in your case?
Now, in my case, it started, I hate to say that, more than 4 decades ago. I've been practicing medicine now for 45 years, and specifically diabetes for the past 40 years, all my research and clinical care. And my association with Moshe and Tadej go back to 2 decades. We started this ATTD about 15 years ago, and the first time it was in Prague. We were shocked to see that there were 700 people who attended the first meeting. So we all got excited, and thus here we are. Now we have more than 4,000 people who are attending this conference. Congratulations to the Kenny's group who have done an amazing job for organizing this conference.
Yeah, we are celebrating the 15th anniversary.
Yeah, we are celebrating the 15th anniversary. Many more to go.
Thanks to all of you, of course. Yes. So, what do you want to tell the audience, for all of them that are seeing us live? They cannot attend the ATTD personally, but what do you want to tell them?
So I would like to tell the audience 2 things. Get into technology sooner, which is continuous glucose monitors and the pumps or the hybrid closed loop. That will break the barriers for you and the patients. Not only that, it will also help you to improve the glucose outcome for patients with diabetes. The earlier you get involved, the better outcomes will be for your patients, and the long-term complications will be clearly reduced.
And especially for the younger generation?
Oh, especially for the younger generation. Even though we don't see eye to eye with the younger generation, but I think there is enough common in us that we all care for patients, we all care for the upcoming research. Thus, it's very important to get involved earlier on, and especially with ATTD, which is young still, only 15 years of this meeting, and especially the Yearbook that we've been writing for nearly now 10 years, which gives you a snapshot of what really happened in the last year if you're not able to attend ATTD in person. But I'm hoping that you all will attend this meeting next year in Berlin in person. No more masks. I hope all the countries will take off all the restrictions and we can move freely.
We're looking forward to do that. So the yearbook will be available online for free, and you can also buy an actual copy of it. So thank you very much, Professor Garg. It has been a wonderful session. I really appreciate to have the...
Well, thank you very much, Lena. Good
so enjoy the rest of the day. Stay with me for a bit, and we will continue these days to see what... Tomorrow is the last day, but we still have a lot of sessions coming up. So
thank you.
Thank you so much.
Bye-bye.
So in case you didn't wake up... bye. In case you didn't wake up in time this morning, I remember you that we had the ATTD Run along the coastline of Barcelona. We met a runner at the end. I guess you all know him, one of the co-chairs of the conference, Professor Tadej Batellino, that was already with us the first day. So, that's it.
ATTD, our own studio. How was the run?
Well, it was an extremely nice experience.
I tried to,
many people participated, and some were extremely fast, and us were a little bit slower, but we ran together, so it was a beautiful experience, and please join us next year. It will be even more fun.
You weren't that slow. You came from one of the firsts.
No. I was in a group of people my age, and we discussed a little bit and ran a little bit, so it was real fun.
A little bit about the runner to overcome inertia issue.
Run is a very, very good idea, I believe, and it helps you moving in life also, not just, when you are in your shirts. And so, so I believe it's a good idea, and let's join together.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Min, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Lena. So I'm Min Le, General Manager of PK Vitality. We are developing continuous glucose monitoring in the form of a smartwatch and of a patch. So the smartwatch has the traditional functions of a smartwatch: time and date, alarms, wellness tracking, steps, active minutes, calories, heart rate, sleep monitoring. And at the back of it, you have a patch which is monitoring glucose, and that just sits just behind the watch. So you can see the patch is there. In fact, the patch sticks to the skin, come with micro needles, so they are very, very tiny, so you cannot see it. Even when you're close, you have to have very good eyes to see it. And there's a chemical reaction between the glucose molecule found in the interstitial fluid and the chemical that sit on top of the needles. And this signal from this chemical reaction is passed to the watch and analyzed by the watch and display the glucose reading on the screen. So this is it. What do we bring to this CGM world? We are bringing a penless experience, because the microneedles, you don't feel them at all. We're also solving the issue of the adhesive. We have both a gentle adhesive, silicone-based, and an adhesive that stays in place for the whole duration of the lifetime of the patch, 7 days, because it's protected by the watch, and the watch applies the pressure on the patch. Also, the CGM part is completely invisible. So what people will see at the patient wrist is a watch, not the patch hidden behind it. So you can see that it's completely invisible. And last but not least, we have a more affordable solution and something which is greener, because there is no electronic in the patch. We move the electronics from the patch to the watch. So pen-free experience, solving the adhesive issue, completely discrete product, and more affordable and greener. This is what we are bringing. We believe that our solution is definitely a very good fit, especially for the type 2 audience, type 2 patients which don't like medical looking devices. And we are now in clinical trial in well-known American sites, MCR Institute. And we have a series of clinical trials throughout the year 2022. If you want to know more, you'll be able to join and see a full presentation today at 12:30 here at ATTD. And if not, you can go on our website to get to know more. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Min. Go visit the tech fair virtually or physically. You will not be disappointed. Back to the yearbook session, the one that everyone are waiting for, that will take place later today. With me at the studio is Thomas Danne, that is also one of the speakers. His lecture is on new insulins, biosimilars, and insulin therapy. He is director of the Department of General Pediatrics, Endocrinology, and Diabetology, and Clinical Research at the Hospital for Children and Adolescents in Hanover, Germany. Thank you for joining me, Professor.
Thank you, Lena, for having me.
Such a pleasure to have you here on set. So what makes the yearbook session so important?
Well, there are now so many people around here who want to know, in a nutshell, what is new. When I'm coming home to my friends and colleagues and they ask me, so tell me, Barcelona, what was really the news? It's really in the yearbook. because in a very condensed format, all the super experts have kind of put together what in the past year has happened in the scientific community and really made a difference. And so you can, in a very short time, be updated on all the new developments. And that's what is unique, why the yearbook is really always a session which is packed with people.
Yeah, we know that it's one of the most important ones. Tell us a little bit about the process. How do they get?
So the process is you have a group of experts. In our case, it's 3 people. Myself, Lutz Heinemann, and Jan Bollende, and we kind of divided up the area on short-acting insulins, on long-acting insulins, and on biosimilars. And so every one of us then scans the literature, finds out what is really so meaningful, and then we put it all together, we discuss it, and say, well, this, maybe you should add this, or maybe this is not that important, and then come up with a chapter, and it's then reviewed by our editors, Moshe Philipp and Tadej Batellino, and for many years, people tell me it's the one that is read the most. Because in the end of the day, insulin is really what made diabetes treatment the big start. We have actually the 100th anniversary of insulin not too long ago, and really that made such a big difference.
How do you think the future is going to be in terms of diabetes?
Well, I think, of course, everybody who deals with diabetes is hoping for a cure. But that's probably in the long distance. But we know now, and we can already see, you see I have a little bit of gray hair, so I'm with it already for more than 30 years. And to see the progress, it's enormous. And looking back at the yearbook, you can see, in my mind, that the progress is accelerating. So more and more new treatments are available, new technology is there for people with diabetes. And if you look at the yearbooks, the pace is really accelerating, and I think we're at a stage where we are really also able with those new therapies to relieve burden for the patient. So for example, we are looking now for the ideal insulin for insulin pumps. That's something that we're going to cover in the yearbook, because we now have automated insulin delivery where we're combining the glucose sensors with the insulin pumps, and that, you know, relieves burden. It doesn't add complexity to the therapy, but actually takes it away from a patient. And this is really something really great that is happening in the past couple of years.
And how did all this start? When did you begin to be in touch with this field?
Well, in the end of the day, it's like in many things in life, it's about friendship. I'm a very close friend of the 2 organizers, Moshe Philipp and Tadej Batellino. And when they said, you know, in Prague we will hold an ATTD Congress to focus on new treatments and technology, would you want to be part of that? I said, of course, you know, it's a great idea. We have done lots of research together. But then they came up with a good idea. Well, we need to have this yearbook also kind of as a summary, also to take home and to share with other people this overview of what was happening. And I've been a member of the yearbook group ever since, and I learn also a lot from the other chapters of the yearbook, because it's really giving you an opportunity, in a nutshell, to know what is new, what is important.
Perfect. It's for a lot of people the first time that we are in an in-person conference after such a long time. How does it feel? How are you experiencing this?
It is difficult to describe how beautiful it is. I mean, you can nearly get tears in your eyes because you haven't seen these people in person for 2 years. Actually, the ATTD meeting in Madrid was the last big scientific meeting that we had. And to be able to touch and feel your friends and colleagues again is such an enormous, wonderful situation. Really, it makes a big difference, and I hope it stays that way.
We all hope so.
Yeah.
And is there something there that you want to tell to the younger generation at ATTD?
I think the ATTD is a fantastic place to be inspired what is going on in the world of science, how science translates to real benefits for living people who have a chronic condition like diabetes. And if you want to make a difference in your life by doing science, ATTD is a good place to go.
So yeah, I guess you're happy to be here and you're enjoying all the technology and treatments that we are enjoying these days. It's been such a pleasure to be with you. I hope you have enjoyed your time here with us as well. We are gonna have more sessions these days. Are you looking forward to any session that you have?
I've already learned so much. I mean, there has been really a change in the way, for example, how we're doing studies that we're now using continuous glucose monitoring, something called time in range, to really see how new therapies are done. There's a session coming up just at 9 o'clock on this, looking at the in-range trial. There was another session, for example, where I learned that, giving little doses of glucagon will maybe a more physiological way of treating hypoglycemia. So there has been so many inspiring things. I couldn't know which session I could really think of. And tomorrow morning, for example, we will discuss whether screening for type 1 diabetes is a new way of really identifying people at risk and making them possible to be treated. And Chantal Mathieu has already led the area to say, well, we need big consortia like Enodia to work together to finally find a way to cure type 1 diabetes.
Yeah, we were talking with her just today. It was amazing as well. So thank you again.
My pleasure, and see you in my hometown Berlin next year, Lena. So
okay,
please come to the next ATTD.
I go pretty often to Berlin because I have good friends there. So
it's a great city, and we'll have another great ATTD.
And yeah, it has beautiful springtime and summer. So
absolutely,
definitely I will go. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Lena. Thank you.
That is it for now. We will meet here immediately after the Yearbook session ends at around 2:30 p.m. Enjoy the rest of the day. Goodbye. See you soon.
Bye-bye.